Print servers in federal environments create risk and unnecessary complexity. Every new printer, location, or policy adds strain to infrastructure that was never built for today's demands. FedRAMP High Authorized Printer Logic eliminates print servers with a secure cloud-native, zero-trust solution designed for federal IT. With advanced security, centralized control, and simplified management, agencies can modernize print without added burden. See what secure serverless printing looks like. Visit Vasion.com to learn more.
Federal Drive is presented by GEHA, Government Employees Health Association, proudly providing health and dental benefits to federal employees and their families. Visit GEHA.com.
The Defense Department is asking Congress for broad new authority to directly sell military real estate, lease it back when it needs to, and reinvest the cash from these sales into a number of defense priorities. Federal News Network's Anastasia Obis is here with more details. Anastasia, thanks for joining me.
Hi, Terry.
This sounds like a really interesting proposal. What exactly is DoD trying to do here, and what is it asking Congress for?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So DoD wants Congress to give it the authority to sell its own property. Right now, DoD can't do that. If it wants to sell its property, it needs to go through the General Services Administration, the agency that oversees the disposal of federal real property that federal agencies no longer need. In the legislative proposal that they sent to Congress in July, DoD basically asked Congress to give it the ability to bypass much of the current GSA property disposal process, which is very lengthy, so it can sell its property a lot quicker and it could have a lot more flexibility to spend that cash. The legislation would create this special treasury account where cash received from those sales would be deposited.
What does DoD envision spending that cash on?
Yeah, there are a couple of things. We don't have a lot of details, but the proposal says that DoD could use that money for any installation management or infrastructure related projects that the defense secretary deems to be in the interest of national defense. So that is very broad. But DoD officials did say that they want to be able to sell the property to rapidly, on a pay-as-you-go basis, upgrade and modernize infrastructure such as barracks. They want to modernize port infrastructure, as well as sensitive compartmented information facility and special access program facility space. The money would also go towards the Trump administration priorities, such as Golden Dome, the missile defense system. They also want to be able to spend that money on southern border operations, and they also want to allocate that money for the development of AI data centers. On top of that, they want to be able to transfer that money, if needed, into existing procurement or research and development accounts.
So if I understood you right, they're asking for the permission to be able to sell property without oversight. Would they need oversight to spend the money that they generate from those sales, or would Congress have to get involved or not?
So it sounds like they would have a lot of freedom. However, the proposal does say that there would be some oversight. Basically, DoD would have to notify the Congressional Defense Committees at least 14 days before completing a sale and certify that that transaction is advantageous to the United States.
So could the Pentagon then also sell a property and continue to use it, lease it back?
Yes, that's actually what they want to do. They want to be able to lease back some of the sold facilities for up to 50 years, and that's the authority that they're also looking for. But they do want to structure those sale leaseback agreements in a way that would reduce the upfront budget impact of long-term leases. So certain long-term lease commitments require the government to have significant costs up front, or they would have to recognize a long-term liability. But what the proposal is trying to do is to require DoD to pay rent for a leaseback only annually.
Are there other property management changes in this legislative proposal?
Yeah, so kind of related to this, DoD is also asking Congress to give them greater flexibility to use cash that they generate from leasing their own property. So this is a little bit complicated, but stay with me. They're asking to remove the $500,000 annual cap on what it can pay to lease space back from a private developer. So basically, DoD says it has prevented the department from pursuing larger enhanced use lease projects on military installations. What DoD envisions here is basically it leases its land to a private developer through an enhanced use lease. The developer finances the project rather than DoD doing it by itself, using its construction funding, hiring contractors, etc. DoD then leases some of that new or renovated space back, but right now, that leaseback prevents DoD from committing to more than $500,000 annually. And there is another part to this where DoD wants more freedom with the money it receives from leasing its property. Also, similarly, it wants to use that cash. It wants that cash to be deposited into the special treasury account for 5 years. And it also wants to use that money kind of similarly in a similar fashion for installation management and infrastructure projects. They also want to be able to transfer that money to R&D accounts and procurement accounts.
Do they have an estimate of what it would cost to move in this direction?
So far, they say these proposals would not have any impact on the resources requested within the 2027 president's budget.
That's Federal News Network's Anastasia Obis. Thanks for the update.
Thank you, Terry.
You can find her story at federalnewsnetwork.com.